Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this episode of Lore and Flavor, I will take a look at all of the upcoming Blood Death Knight cards. So in World of Warcraft, Blood Death Knight is the Death Knight tank spec, so that is the spec of Death Knight that is going to defend others, that's going to keep the boss focused on them, that has a lot of abilities for self-healing. So this would naturally translate into some kind of control archetype in Hearthstone, I suppose, and that is kind of what they're looking for with these Blood Death Knight cards, but let's take a look at how do they match the lore in World of Warcraft and what sort of flavor have they added to Blood Death Knight. So first of all, we have Heartstrike, and I mean Heartstrike is iconic. It is the main attack of Blood Death Knight. Heartstrike is what you're going to be hitting time and time again. In World of Warcraft, it is a cleave attack, so it deals damage to 2 targets, and that aspect is not included in this one. And it also restores runic power, so it makes it easier for you to do other abilities. And well, it does give you a corpse, so I guess in some ways this does have the same feel. As for the flavor text, love hurts, well, that's just a regular pun. Flavor texts typically don't have much to do with World of Warcraft, they're just like cheap puns for the most part. But there's at least one here that's pretty WoW-oriented as well. And then there is Noxious Cadaver. 1 mana, 1/2 undead, battlecry, deal 2 damage to an enemy and your hero. And I have to say that I kind of love this one. Also, the flavor text in this one. Shouldn't have eaten that gas station sushi. Alright, well, yeah, that's kind of nonsense. But the thing is that there's multiple cadavers in World of Warcraft. Cadaver means a corpse. So there would be lots of options to use zombies with name Cadaver. But actually, most cadavers in World of Warcraft are in Stratholme. And do you know what happened to people of Stratholme? Well, people of Stratholme were one of the first to fall to the Scourge Plague, because there was poisoned grain that was delivered to Stratholme, people ate it and then they all became zombies. So, shouldn't have eaten that gas station sushi also has a bit of a nice reference to the poisoned grain of Stratholme in it. Then we have Blood Tap, a 2 mana spell. Give all minions in your hand +1/+1. Spend 3 corpses to give them +1/+1 more. And this one has me a little bit confused, like also the flavor. Come join us in the tavern. We have whatever you're drinking on tap. Yes, even that. Okay, but Blood Tap is a Blood Death Knight talent, which is resource generation talent. You use it and you regenerate runes, so you will be able to do other stuff. It's a way to regenerate resources in the game. And giving your minions +1/+1, this doesn't really have anything to do with the Blood Death Knight Blood Tap in World of Warcraft. Then there's Hematurge, 2 mana, 2/3 battlecry, spend a corpse to discover a blood rune card. She's here to pump you up. Alright, well, I couldn't find anything related to this from World of Warcraft, really. I just couldn't. Then there's Obliterate, and Obliterate is a really weird one. 2 mana, Obliterate, destroy a minion, your hero takes damage equal to its health. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because Obliterate 9. Well, the flavor text is a pun. It's based on the English riddle. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ate 9. No, 6 is afraid because 7 has already eaten 9, so who knows what's gonna happen next. Haha, doesn't work in other languages. But Obliterate overall, because Obliterate is like the signature Frost Death Knight ability. This is the ability that you use when you deal big damage to a single target. And here, okay, well, Destroy a Minion kind of makes sense because it is a really big hit, but it's a Frost Death Knight ability, not Blood Death Knight ability. Vampiric Blood is a bit more of a hit. 2 mana, give your hero +5 health, spend 3 corpses to gain 5 more and draw a card. Bleh, bleh, bleh. This is a Blood Death Knight talent, and the Blood Death Knight talent gives you a temporary health buff and also temporarily increased healing, so that when you're in a raid environment, you're taking some big hits, and you know that, hey, this is a hit that's going to kill me. You use that one, you gain temporary increased healing, increased health, so that the healers will be able to catch up and keep you alive. One of your big cooldowns in that sense. And yeah, give your hero +5 health. Alright, that does do kind of similar things, so this one is one of the hits, I suppose. Vicious Bloodworm, 2 mana, 3/2 beast, not to be confused with the Viscous Bloodworm. Okay, well, Bloodworms is a Death Knight talent, Blood Death Knight talent, it summons a bunch of these worms that go around. They hang around you, they hit your targets, they deal some damage. Then when you take damage and get low, those bloodworms are going to burst. They're going to self-destruct, and that self-destruction is going to heal you. So, okay, I don't really find much of a connection to this minion, but alright, that's how it goes. Asphyxiate, at 3 mana, destroy the highest attack enemy minion. Asphyxiate is an ability that's available to all Death Knights in World of Warcraft. It's a short single target stun. Alright, destroying, fine, that's fine I guess. And well, the flavor text, obviously a Star Wars reference. I find your abundance of attack disturbing. I find your lack of faith in the Force disturbing. Yeah, alright, that's okay. Darkfallen Neophyte, a 3 mana 2/5 undead. Battlegrounds spend 2 corpses to give all minions in your hand +2 attack. It's actually a hairball. Well, I mean, Darkfallen are undead elves, and in particular the Neophytes, this Neophyte graphic is clearly a Sun Lane. Sun Lane are vampiric undead elves, and there are Sun Lane Neophytes in World of Warcraft that actually do this kind of exact same kind of summoning ritual, then they cast shadow spells at you when you go at them. But, I mean, it doesn't really do things that this card does, but the art does match to something that exists in World of Warcraft. Soulbreaker looks exactly like it looks in World of Warcraft. 3 mana, 3/2 weapon. After your hero attacks and kills a minion, gain 2 corpses. Well, it's an agility crit haste sword. One-handed sword that actually drops from Prince Valanar in Icecrown Citadel, because in Icecrown Citadel there's a rain encounter, which is the Blood Prince Council, and Blood Prince Council is a Sun Lane, so they are these undead vampiric elves. And do you know who the Blood Princes are? They're Prince Keleseth, Prince Taldaram, and Prince Valanar. So they are the exact same princes as we already have in Hearthstone. And this is Prince Valanar's weapon. Right there. Death Strike is exactly like it is in the game. 4 mana, lifesteal, deal 6 damage to a minion. A little embarrassing when used on large minions. It's an attack, it's your basic healing attack when you're playing Blood Death Knight. Basic way for you to regain your health. You use other abilities and then they end up buffing your Death Strike, and then you do Death Strike, and then when you do the strike it also heals you. So, a lifesteal ability. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Blood Boil is also pretty sweet. 5 mana, lifesteal, infect all enemy minions. At the end of your turns they take 2 damage. And once your blood is at the boil, throw in the Plagetti. Alright, so pasta, making pasta, alright. Anyway, Blood Boil in World of Warcraft, it's an AoE shadow damage ability, deals a bit of AoE shadow damage initially, and most crucially it infects all targets with Blood Plague. So this also infects all targets. This is a very, very nice follow-up to the World of Warcraft ability. Corpse Explosion looks like a really strong card, and it would be nice if it had a little bit more to do with the actual class in World of Warcraft, because 5 mana Corpse Explosion, detonate a corpse to deal 1 damage to all minions. If any are still alive, repeat this. What? It's not like they were using them anymore? Corpse Explosion as an ability is no longer in the game. There is still a glyph of Corpse Explosion where you can do a cosmetic Corpse Explosion that doesn't actually do anything. But Corpse Explosion used to be an ability in the game as well. It was an unholy Death Knight talent, so not a Blood Death Knight talent at all. And well, what did it do? It exploded a corpse or your ghoul, and then it dealt AoE damage. So yeah, that's kind of expected. So yeah, not really a Blood Death Knight thing, but okay. And then we have some big lore moments with Deathbringer Saurfang. This is Varrock Saurfang's son. Taunt, Death Rattle, return this to your hand. It costs health instead of mana. 5 mana, 3/5 undead. The ability doesn't have anything to do with World of Warcraft. Saurfang doesn't have anything like that in World of Warcraft, but of course very iconic character. The flavor text also refers to WoW. In hindsight, maybe I should have let the Alliance have all the fun back at the Wrathgate. The flavor text refers to Battle of Angrathar the Wrathgate, where Alliance and Horde together were trying to destroy Lich King, trying to get access to Icecrown. And they fought against Lich King and Lich King's minions at Wrathgate. First the Alliance were attacking, and then Saurfang was like, hey, we can't let Alliance have all the fun, charge. And Horde also attacked, but unfortunately they were all betrayed by the Forsaken, who used the new plague and killed everyone, almost killed the Lich King, but didn't quite manage. They tried to kill Alliance Horde and the Lich King, like Forsaken were pretty pissed off. But they failed, Lich King survived, barely, but Deathbringer Saurfang died among other people, and was later resurrected by the Lich King, became a raid boss in Icecrown Citadel. But in Icecrown Citadel encounter, well, Saurfang summons some adds, casts some dots. If your characters die from those damage over time effects, then they're going to heal Saurfang, so doesn't really have anything to do with this, but definitely a big lore character, big lore moment. And speaking of big lore moments, Corrupted Ashbringer, the Ashbringer, the Ashbringer. 6 mana, 5/2 weapon lifesteal. Put your faith in the blight. Put your faith in the light is what Tyrion says, and Tyrion has some history with Corrupted Ashbringer. Corrupted Ashbringer, one of the most famous weapons in classic World of Warcraft, used to drop from the 4 Horsemen encounter from Alexander Smallgrain, who was part of that. Alexander Smallgrain, the Ashbringer, the man and the sword were both called Ashbringer, and Ashbringer was corrupted. It was corrupted by Alexander's son Renault, when Renault killed his father with this weapon. But later on, Alexander's other son, Darion, was a Death Knight, and in the Death Knight introduction campaign, when you're starting your Death Knight character and you become actually an independent being, independent from the Lich King's control, then Darion's Corrupted Ashbringer is purified by Tyrion, and it becomes Ashbringer again, and the Death Knights regain their freedom. So Corrupted Ashbringer, a really, really big iconic weapon, also looks exactly like it does in World of Warcraft. No Muncher, 6 mana, don't lifesteal at the end of your turn, attack the lowest health enemy, 5/6 undead, nom nom nom, yeah. Making eating sounds with that silent G over there. Looks like a regular abomination, nothing too special, just basic abomination stuff going on there. And then related to that Corrupted Ashbringer, the man himself, the Ashbringer, Alexander Smallgrain. 7 mana, battlecry for the rest of the game, deal 3 damage to your opponent at the end of your turn, 7/7 undead. More grain, more problems. Reminds me of No Man, No Problem, but I'm not sure if that's the reference. Anyway, Alexandros was killed by his son Renault, but then he guides his other son Darion through the Corrupted Blade, and this version of Alexander Smallgrain, this is the version from World of Warcraft Shadowlands. You know, people who are dead are alive. So Alexander Smallgrain from Shadowlands wears this set of armor, although Alexander Smallgrain at that point does not wield the Corrupted Ashbringer. He wielded the Corrupted Ashbringer in the original Naxxramas encounter. So a little bit of mix and match of Alexanders at various points in time. And then Patchwork. Patchwork is an icon. 7 mana, 4/6 undead, battlecry, destroy a random minion in your opponent's hand, deck, and battlefield. This card is so good, it might need Patchwork. Yeah, maybe they will end up nerfing this. Anyway, Patchwork is a boss in Naxxramas, and Patchwork is... it's a concept, really, because Patchwork is basically a tank and spank fight. You just try to survive and deal enough damage, and it doesn't have a lot of mechanics. But Patchwork is a big gear check, big DPS check. You need to be able to deal enough damage fast enough or you will just lose. So Patchwork is kind of like the thing that they measure damage against. Like, okay, well, how much would you be able to deal damage if this was a Patchwork fight? Truly a concept in World of Warcraft. Doesn't have anything to do with the ability of this card, but nice to see Patchwork. Patchwork is fun. Boneguard Commander, 8 mana. Taunt, battlecry, raise up to 6 corpses as 1/2 Risen Footmen with Taunt, 8/8 undead. Commander in Hearthstone, finally. The flavor text obviously reference to the Commander format in Magic. Well, we didn't get Commander format in Hearthstone. Boneguard Commander, you meet Boneguard Commander only during a specific daily quest in Icecrown Citadel. You do that for the Argent tournament, where you joust against these on horseback. So they're on horseback, you're on horseback, it is the same model, same sword as well, only the horse is missing here. And then you try to defeat them while you're both riding. Pretty fun daily quest overall. And finally, Blood Death Knight card number 20, Soul Stealer. 8 mana, battlecry, destroy all other minions, gain 1 corpse for each enemy destroyed, 5/5 undead. Wanna see what destruction looks like? Here it is in undead form. It's your boy, Soul Stealer. I don't have anything about this from World of Warcraft. I tried to look into the weapon and the shoulders and the shield, but I just couldn't find them. I have no idea where this comes from. But anyway, those are all the Blood Death Knight cards. There were some really iconic things. There were a couple that were actually from different Death Knight specs, so a little bit confusing. But overall, they have kept up to this World of Warcraft theme with this one. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.